Is that your book or my book? Your God is a Jewish agent. Same time, we as a Christian, we understand very well that the Muslim believe in killing the Jews first and then the Christian next. So if anyone he think that this war between the Jews and the Muslims, he's stupid. The Muslim, they say Saturday first, Sunday next, which means we finish the Jews first and then we finish the Christians. So only foolish people, they say this is not our business. You are next. In fact, they were first for centuries, but since Israel is back to exist, now all the Muslims are busy with Israel. If there's no Israel, let us imagine for a second there's no Israel. Where is Iran will be hitting right now? What is the target will be? Rome, France, Italy, huh? America. Isn't it you Muslim, you say Islam will dominate the world and we will control and will do jihad? Isn't it your faith your prophet says, I've been commanded to kill all mankind until they convert to Islam? So only naive people think that this is a war between the Jews and the Muslims. This is between the Muslims and all mankind, because the Muslim believe that all mankind should surrender to the filthy Muhammad and his penis. This is what Muhammad said. Mudhammam. His real name is Qasim Mudhammam, which means the one with bad behavior, filthy. I was victorious by terror. Who is the first terrorist in Islam? Muhammad. Do you see it? I was victorious by terror. Terror is the way of war in Islam. It's not war, it's terror. So we terrify you, so you surrender. Because if you became a coward, you have a fear, you tremble. You don't want to fight. I cannot make it with those terrorists. This is the whole idea of terrorism. And Muhammad is the first terrorist. His God is a terrorist. In fact, even inside the Muslim family, terrorism practice. The man, he beat his wife to do what? Why the Quran chapter 4 verse 34 says beat your wife? To practice terrorism. Huh? He terrified his wife, so his wife she will surrender. Terror is the essence of Islam. And we fear nobody. And we will wipe the floor with your prophet and your terrorist. It's not their fault, by the way, that they are terrorists and they are getting away with it, but it's the fault of those so-called leaders who they do nothing about it. Trump, he meet with his intel team as Iran retaliate. Let us see what Trump he will do. But I am sure he will say, as long nobody hurt, I will do nothing with it.
Today. What kind of update can you give us on these operations? And curious about Evan Prison. Have any prisoners been released as a result of the bombing of that gate that we just showed?
We're not yet aware of that. The goal, though, is to weaken the regime. This is a despised regime by its people. The people of Iran hate the regime. It's a corrupt, old, incompetent, and very cruel regime that throws anyone who's against the government into jail and torture and to death in many cases. So we're trying to make a dent there. At the same time, we are continuing to peel off everything we can from the nuclear program. We'll see, we'll know in the following days the precise damage that was done at the Fordo enrichment center, and then I guess we'll all be a bit smarter.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. We have some pictures of these 16, I believe, trucks that were on the Fordo site before the attack on Saturday night, and they appear to be taking, loading something up and taking it out of the area. We understand that there are 900 pounds of enriched uranium in this facility. Do you think that it was taken somewhere else, and was the IDF able to find that location?
Look, we should assume that Iran did everything they can to hide it in all kinds of secret places. At the end of the day, it's not a huge thing. Uranium is a very condensed material, so you can hide it in caves and tunnels, etc., etc.
See?
And we also need to be aware that when you take highly enriched uranium and you pour it back into centrifuges for a bit more spinning, you reach the 90% line, which is very dangerous. So we're going to have to see how many centrifuges are left, how much enriched uranium there is, so we can assess how far back have we pushed them.
How likely is regime change in Iran from where you sit?
It's very difficult to know because it's a chaotic thing, regime change. We saw it in the 90s. End of the 80s in the Soviet sphere, in Romania, in Poland, in the Soviet Union, etc. Very hard to know in advance. And I would also say that we know that Iran is turning off the internet, so it's making life very hard for folks to organize big demonstrations and protests. I think we should be doing everything in our power, we being Israel and America, to allow people to communicate with each other in Iran using Starlink, other sorts of devices.
Point. We saw what Starlink did in Ukraine to help that situation, and certainly the Iranian people want to be able to get information, but the regime wants to make it look like they're fighting back at the moment, and probably not let people know that it's unsuccessful.
As you heard, this is the previous Prime Minister of Israel. He said, well, those uranium are very easy to carry, and he's right. Because the enriched uranium is just like a small amount of uranium. It's not like, you don't even need a truck. We are talking about a kilo, 2 kilos, something like that. It's not something very heavy, massive in matter. So they can hide it easy. They can put it in apartments even. They can put it in a storage. They can put it in a warehouse. They can put it inside the kitchen, the only problem they have is how to move those materials safely. And as long as they have scientists, and I'm sure they have the equipment to do it, why not? They are prepared for war, and they are. Trump is talking about we will hit it for a long time. So I will not be surprised if they hidden everything is in danger for them and they put it in a safe place. And yet both sides, they claim that we destroyed their capability of having the nuke. It's going to be horrible if we hear the news that 2 weeks from now or 6 months from now, the Iranian, they say we have our first nuke. And I think that will happen mostly. And then what the American would do? If they are afraid to fight with Iran when they have no nuke, are they going to have a war with Iran with nuke? They have no nukes now. And yet Trump is counting to 1 billion before he do hit. So what they are doing is absolutely wrong. They are not dealing with this situation good. They are being hypocrite. They are doing politics and nothing truthful in what they say in TV.
Thank you. Well, earlier we spoke to our security correspondent, Frank Gardner, and asked him to put everything that's happened in the last few hours into global perspective.
It unfolded very quickly, but it's possible that this is the high watermark of the US-Iran conflict. Let's hope so. Everything now depends on what Donald Trump wants to do. It's very clear that the Iranians decided they had to respond to the US air raid by the B-2 bombers. There will have been a debate between hardliners and more cautious, pragmatic people in the Supreme National Security Council of Iran. And some will have said, we need to hit them hard and fast and now, and we need to lash out in all directions. Others will have said, well, let's salvage this. Come on, let's face it, we are facing overwhelming force here. And the pragmatists seem to have won out, although it was very dramatic, and of course it is, on the face of it, an escalation. I mean, Qatar is furious. They're calling this a flagrant violation of their sovereign territory. And they're not going to be impressed by Iran saying, no offense to you, Qatar, you're a brotherly nation. But
when they speak about Qatar being upset, this is a big fat lie. I assure you, Qatar in total agreement with Iran. It's a scenery. And this is why Qatar been chosen by Iran, not the Saudi. Because Iranian and Qatar are very close friends. They did not attack Saudi Arabia because they don't want Saudi Arabia to respond. Saudi Arabia is not a friend to Iran. Qatar is the most close friend to Iran. Remember, Qatar and Hamas is the same thing. Iran and Hamas is the same thing. So they are partner in the crime. So the Iranian and the Qatari, they are making a scenery that we will say we attack in Qatar. The Qatari said, no problem, as long you will not hurt the Qatari, as long you will hit the American, and there's nobody there anyway, go for it. So now Qatar condemned the attack, for sure, this is what they will say in TV, but in reality, they called Qatar 2 days ago, telling them we will hit you tomorrow. Please take care. Close your airspace. Like, did you ask yourself why the Qatari, they closed the airspace since yesterday? How they knew they will hit? Because they told them. It's a mockery.
That is retaliation for the recent American bombing of its nuclear facilities that was ordered by President Donald Trump over the weekend. These are pictures supplied by Iran, Iran's Revolutionary Guards, saying that these are images of missile launches. Iran saying they launched 6 missiles altogether towards Qatar. They've also issued a statement saying Iran will not leave any attack on their territorial integrity and sovereignty unanswered and under any circumstances. Qatar, for its part, confirmed there was an attack on their territory on the US base at Al Udeid, which is home to some 8,000 American troops. Qatar called it a flagrant violation and said that it reserves the right to respond directly. There are, though, reports, having said all of that, that Iran actually might have telegraphed the attack in advance to Qatar and even perhaps to the United States, with indications that perhaps this was really a largely symbolic attack. 6 missiles fired, Iran saying, a choreographed, performative missile strike, perhaps not designed to cause too much damage or too many casualties. Well, Al Udeid is the biggest American military base in the Middle East. It's the forward operating base of US Central Command in the Middle East. Hugely important, therefore. In fact,
what a mockery. What a mockery. They are making fun of us. They claim that they are at war, but in reality the war is only between two, Israel and Iran. America, they are not involved. Trump, he did nothing. And Trump become an embarrassment if he did not respond. And I'm assuming he will not respond. He will sleep over it. He will act as nothing happened. And that will make the Iranian, feel proud about what they did. Look, we attacked the American. Not only they can attack us, we attack their bases, and Trump is hidden and running, and he act as if he saw nothing. It's a showtime. Neither Iran want to have a war with America. Neither America want to have war with Iran. Trump, he claimed victory over something he did not accomplish. Iran claimed victory over America over something they did not accomplish. The only one is doing the accomplishment is Israel. Those are the only true soldiers are involved at war now, and the American and European are watching Israel fighting alone. And they are waiting for Israel to destroy Iran. Western countries, including America, they don't want to get involved. They are a bunch of business people. They don't care for Israel. Even if they're Iranian, they shell you with billion missiles every day. They will not care. They will say we support you, but from behind the scenery. But they will not join you in this war. And the proof is in front of us. In fact, I wish Trump he did not do what he claimed he'd have done, because as you see, obviously nothing happened. He hit buildings which are empty. They took everything from inside the buildings. There was nothing there, and it's a joke. Those are trucks. They were there a day before the attack, taking whatever they need from inside this facility. I never heard of somebody want to destroy a very sensitive target, involve something we can carry, like we can move. Like this is not just like a machine they cannot move out. We are talking about things we can move. Uranium. Why in the world he want to tell them in advance we are going to hit you tomorrow? When we heard the news, we thought Trump is playing deception. He played them. He told them I will hit within 2 weeks, and then suddenly in the weekend he hit. It turned to be totally this is false. He told the Russian told the Iranian they send their trucks, they empty the facilities from all the important reach uranium, and boom, Trump he hit an empty building. And then he claimed victory.